think, Conference, there's been quite sort of a large amount of misunderstanding or misinformation here. For a start, the living wage proposed in our policy is £10 an hour. I don't understand where anybody got any other. £10 an hour is the living wage that's proposed in our policy. I mean, there was never any different amount. I also note that motion, to me it looks like a motion. I mean, it was explained to you from here that it was an alternative motion, not an amendment. That means it should have been submitted by October the 9th, not as an amendment. And I just want to pick up what she said about the 24-hour care policy, which is being, passed, was incredibly successful in March. 24-hour care policy, this does not mean that people are looking after your children for 24 hours a day. It is to cover all the different shifts where people work. So if you are working the late shift and you are working from, say, 8 till 1:30 in the morning, there will be care if you absolutely need it. That's all it is. It's for flexible care, not 9 to 5. That's all it means. Now, of course, we know most people wouldn't avail themselves of it because that isn't a desirable way to live. But we know that some people will be pushed into that. They won't have a choice. We want that provision for them. Now, this policy, we are trying to cover needs from every single perspective. And I have to say that a lot of the policies that you've just heard opposing this motion actually lifted most of what they're proposing from the same motion. And if you look at the details, we have exactly the same policies on work capability assessment, on retaining DLA and getting rid of PIP. It's exactly the same. Please do us the courtesy of actually reading it. And I want to say, finally, that in general, I like the way both motions were written, but I just feel that they don't go anywhere near enough, and they don't have a strong enough grip on what is happening, how capital works, and how we actually fight it. I feel that what we have in Left Unity is a bit of a crisis over our differences in understanding social change. We have different ideas about how social change happens. And I just think that as a socialist, as a Marxist, I feel sometimes that I'm being marginalised within Left Unity because I take a certain perspective on economics, which, I do think informs our policies. Now, all I can say is no conditionality, no forced labour, and no sanctions. Thank you.